Coming up today on Studio 13 Live, the MLB All-Star Week festivities in full swing. Which famous athlete and Bothell native surprised fans during the celebrity softball tournament? Plus, we're giving you a look at Seattle's first ever Afrobeats music festival with DJ Blast. What artists you can expect to see performing at the Seattle Center this month. Then we're trying Malasada Donuts with Good Belly. What inspired this woman-owned business to open their Hawaiian-style donut food truck? And we're tasting wines from around Washington's Gorge region with Rapport, how they're educating people with their new wine fair event. Studio 13 Live starts right now.
I wanna see you smile, take you another mile. Don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait today. It's happening all around, like sunshine through the clouds. I'm gonna make your day.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so excited to have you. I'm Mireya Garcia.
And I'm Carly Henderson. Big week in Seattle happening right now. Okay, so over the weekend, actors, singers, and Olympians grabbed their bats and threw on their cleats on Saturday at T-Mobile Park for the celebrity softball tournament. Felix Hernandez, the king, hit a 3-run bomb, the former pitcher's first home run since he did it in a real game back in 2008. Brett Boone was also named MVP after hitting 3 solo home runs, but it was really Bothell High School grad and current Chicago Bulls player Zach Levine who surprised fans at the stadium, hitting a 3-run home run and even robbing Mike Cameron of a dinger. Other stars in attendance included Adam Devine, Joel McHale, Bobby Wagner, Chloe Kim, and JoJo Siwa. Team Felix beat Team Jenny Finch 21-19. So, you know, a normal scoring baseball game. How fun.
Felix really said, I still have it.
I still have it.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine being a professional baseball player and then like playing in the celebrity game and like not doing that well? They have a lot to defend there.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? They have their reputation.
Oh, that was so fun.
Good to hear you still had it. I saw this tweet that said, turns out baseball players really good at softball or basketball players really good at softball.
Yes, it seems that way.
Yes. If you're planning on going down for All-Star Week festivities, be prepared to pay a lot. So take a look at some of the parking prices that our crew found today. The cheapest price our crew found was $95.
Did you say cheapest?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, it turns out they can go up to 100, even 120 bucks. So look, we've been harping on this for a while, but it's worth it to say it again. If you can take public transportation, that's probably your best bet here.
Yeah,
wow.
Unless you don't mind spending $100 or more on parking, but that infuriates me personally.
Yes.
I hate even spending $25 on parking, to be honest. So that is just not something I want to spend my money on. And I mean, there's a lot of places in the city where you can take public transit and get to downtown and get to the stadium. So I would definitely do that if I were you.
Yeah, and you and I live like in opposite places, but when we meet up in Seattle, we've taken public transit to get there. You know, just park. I park on the north end of town and take the rail, and it's very easy, very inexpensive. So, I mean, that would be my option.
Yeah,
for sure.
big fan. Even buses. I mean, if you count, from where I'm coming from anyway, it is barely slower to take a bus than driving yourself and like looking for parking.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what people think. They think, oh, if I'm going to take public transit, it's going to take forever to get there. Not really if you consider like how you're going to have to drive around, not to mention all the money you're going to spend. So I'm all about public transit when it makes sense.
Yeah. And speaking of money, one lucky Seattle business has been chosen to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at the MLB All-Star Game tomorrow, earning a $10,000 grant. So as a staple in the Burien community for more than 30 years, the Pizza Gallery was awarded this grand prize, which includes the chance to walk the red carpet alongside all the star game players and a feature on MLB Tonight. Very cool. This is all part of the Home Team Advantage Contest, MasterCard, and MLB also, by the way, honoring a few other small businesses with an opportunity to attend the 2023 All-Star Game. That includes Peak Sports, Spine Physical Therapy, Rainier Adaptive Sports, the People's Burger, and friends of the show, Wero Korean Kitchen. How cool is that?
They were just here. This is also good publicity for this pizza restaurant. This makes me want to go try them.
Exactly.
You know? For a while, while I was like on a hunt to find the best pizza in Seattle, and I kind of like tapered off. I feel like that was more of a winter vibe thing.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. You know, now I got to go there and check it out down in Burien. This is such a heartwarming story. So a 9-year-old cancer survivor took center stage at the MLB Draft on Sunday. Tiago Viernes was invited by the Mariners to announce Colt Emerson as their first-round pick. Now, Viernes overcame stage 4 neuroblastoma when he was just 2 years old. Last year, Julio Rodriguez wrote Tiago's name on his Stand Up to Cancer card at the All-Star game. I love to hear it. I love to see these players show their littlest fans love, especially when they have fought so many battles at such a young age.
Wow, this is wild. I love to see it as well. It just really, 2 years old. 2 years That's
old.
Not fair. That isn't
not.
fair, but this small piece that this child is going to be able to take with him throughout his life, I know it means a lot.
Absolutely. Research from the CDC shows that men are 67% less likely to go to the doctor than women, and even less likely to get screened for potentially deadly diseases.
Yeah, that is not great. And you know, longtime Mariner broadcaster Rick Riz actually recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, but fortunately, he caught it early. And he has a message for all the guys out there about why screenings are just so important.
I'm telling all you guys out there, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, you know, have your yearly physical and get a PSA test. Check and see what your prostate is doing. And your PSA test should be between a range of 0 and 4. And mine was getting higher and higher every year. So every year I'd get checked, and it went out of the 4 range to 5, 6, 7, up to 8.2. And my physician, Dr. Rainier Van Couvert in Israel, said, Rick, we got to take a look at this. And I went, okay. Take a look at it, and he said, we need to take a biopsy. So he ordered the biopsy for me, and sure enough, I was diagnosed with grade 1 prostate cancer. That's the best cancer you could possibly have. I'm very fortunate. There's grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 and 3, you really got to think about doing some treatment, radiation, chemo, maybe surgery to remove the prostate. 4 or 5, you got to really be active and taking it out and being really, really careful because you want to keep going. And with grade 1, though, it's such a low, slow-growing cancer. I'm very, very fortunate. It's just active surveillance, where I just have to keep an eye on it, Bill, with PSA tests 3 or 4 during the course of the year. I just had one a couple days ago, and my number went down, so that's good. And with another biopsy a year from when I had my last one back in early December, and an MRI, which I had prior to spring training, so make sure that, you know, that cancer doesn't go anywhere. So I'm telling everybody, you know, all you guys out there, number 1, get your yearly exam. That's so important. This is a very curable cancer, as a lot of cancers are, but you gotta go to your family physician, get a simple blood test, and get checked. It can save your life.
You know, Rick, truly a human encyclopedia when it comes to baseball. And by the way, he has not missed a day of work since his diagnosis, and nobody would have blamed him.
No.
But the man loves what he does, and he credits, you know, him being able to stick around at work with being diagnosed early. So get your yearly checks.
Yeah, such a good attitude from him too. He's like, it's only stage 1, you know, such a good reminder. I think we can all think of a million reasons to not go to the doctor. There's so many, but if you just go, it's one of the things you can do to live such a long life. So it's a good reminder for all of us, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. I cannot wait to go to my own physical now. Got to do it.
Yeah, I know. I need to schedule one too. Okay, good news. Madonna is on the road to recovery.
Yeah, she posted a statement on Instagram saying, in part, quote, I'm on the road to recovery, incredibly grateful for all the blessings in my life. My first thought when I woke up in the hospital was my children. My second thought was that I did not want to disappoint anyone who bought tickets for my tour. You know, she went on to say that her focus is on her health getting stronger. So she does plan to reschedule the North American leg of her tour and then begin in October in Europe. So it'll still be a few months before she's feeling, you know, ready. This all comes less than 2 weeks after she was reportedly found unconscious in her home. How scary. She had to be rushed to the hospital, had a bacterial infection. And you know, when people go through these like horrible health scares. I think we all do it. You worry about the people you're going to be letting down, but you really got to focus on yourself at that point.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been like, okay, I need to get myself back to health if I'm just sick or something. And then you're like, I don't want to miss this much work. What are they going to do without me?
Right.
But like sometimes you really do just need to take a minute, especially, of course, in Madonna's case.
Sure.
But it's nice to know that she was thinking of all the fans so much too, because I'm sure you do so much to prep for a tour. So many people are hired to go on these tours. You're probably just thinking of everyone you're letting down. But at some point, there's nothing else you can do but just get yourself back feeling better. So I'm glad that that's what she's doing. And sounds like she's still going to be able to make the European leg of her tour. And then soon she'll be crisscrossing the U.S., coming to Seattle, ready for you. All right, grab your tissues, because one of the most legendary performers of our time is saying goodbye to the stage. Sir Elton John wrapped up his 50-plus-year career with a final performance in Stockholm, Sweden on Saturday to close out his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. The tour actually began 5 years ago in 2018, but it was suspended in 2020 due to the pandemic. They picked it back up again in 2021, and according to Billboard, it earned around $925 million. Okay, that's almost $1 billion, becoming the highest grossing tour of all time. Elton John says that he is looking forward to a much needed vacation, but he may still do some one-off shows in the future. So is he really retiring if he's still going to do one-off shows?
Just like stretching his vocal muscles. Like, I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is that he should have hit $1 billion. Like, he should keep going until he hits $1 billion.
Quite a milestone. I'm sure with like merch and everything, he's made maybe multiple billions. I don't know. I know a lot of artists make a lot from their merch on tour. We know that. We were talking about all the merch we're thinking about getting for Taylor Swift's concert coming up. This is the opposite of an Irish exit, you know?
It is.
He's like, let's go.
Prolonged.
5-year-long tour, but
I don't know if it's I don't think it's a saying, but I'm going to call it a Mexican exit, because when I visit family, like you hug and you know, give a little kiss on the cheek to every single person at the party before you leave. And sometimes that takes an hour.
That's so polite. That's so polite. All right, still ahead, we are trying the unique Hawaiian-style donuts with Good Belly.
And we're going to get a look at their woman-owned food truck. Oh, that looks so good.
Today, it's happening all around, like sunshine through the clouds. I'm gonna make your day.
Today, a trial in Oakland County is going to have both sides of a family hoping a verdict goes their way. You hate to see it, but this one has to do with two wills. One is handwritten by Aretha Franklin nearly 5 years after the legendary singer's death. One of the wills was found in the cushions of her couch. Oof. That's wild to me. Okay, so Franklin had 4 sons, never had a formal will in place. Can't believe it. The estate of the Queen of Soul said to be worth millions of dollars. Isn't it weird that she didn't have an official will?
She had one made up, but she hadn't signed it. So it was printed out, but she had not signed it. I know there was like one in her cabinets. And I was looking, and actually it's estimated to be an $80 million estate. And she put this clause in one of her wills that said 2 of her sons must take business classes and get a certificate or a degree before getting their inheritance. So she wanted to make sure they weren't just gonna blow her hard-earned money, which I think is pretty smart. I also learned when I went down this like rabbit hole of Aretha Franklin like will situations. So she had her first, she has four kids. She had her first 2 when she was 12 years old and 14 years old.
Wow.
Wild, huh?
Yeah, very young.
Yeah, went on to be so successful.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so hard for me, though, when I see families fighting this way, because you'd think that after all they went through with their mother, if there was no agreement, you think they'd just split it 4 ways and call it good. So you really just hate to see that. But I don't think it's a lot to ask to take these classes. I mean, that's a fair call.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. And I think that's like her showing her love to her child, even after she's gone, you know? Hopefully they get that worked out. Yeah. Tricky stuff, tricky stuff. You don't have to be famous to go through that kind of thing either, as many people know. All right, my boy Harry Styles is joining a growing list of artists who've been hit on stage by objects thrown by fans. It seems like every day we're reporting on this, doesn't it? So the 29-year-old singer was hit in the eye while performing his Love on Tour concert in Vienna, Australia. He's the latest victim of this recent trend. Kelsey Ballerini, BB Rexa, Pink, and Drake are some of the other musicians to have objects thrown at them while performing on stage. And this is not Harry Styles' first time being hit either. He was hit by flowers back in June and a bottle last year. A rep for the singer has not commented on the attack, but Styles had to hold his eye while he was on stage.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I saw a video once of somebody like tossing something at him, but they apologized and he was like, "It's okay." This thing in in Austria sounds like it was more like mean.
I know. And I'm kind of like, has this been happening all the time? And now we're just seeing like more serious injuries from it? Because just even kind of recounting the times that it's happened to Harry in the past, it's like, oh, well, now this feels like a trend, but clearly it's happened to him many times before.
Yeah.
But y'all, we need to stop this because we're going to have to see artists performing behind plexiglass at this rate, which I do not want. That is not a fun concert, okay?
No, it isn't. Gosh, I think also there's like a copycat situation and you hate to see it. I mean, you'd think I am embarrassed for the people that keep doing this for attention. How embarrassing for you that this is the kind of attention that you need. But I guess for some people, they're like, I like this idea. So please stop, please reconsider. Send him a little tweet, a little thread, or an Insta post. Maybe he'll see that, okay? Yeah. Hey, Britney Spears speaking out about her incident with the NBA's #1 draft pick. We're talking about Victor Wembanyama, and the pop star was struck by a member of his security. I mean, we talked about this a whole lot. It was the craziest thing. She was trying to get the players' attention in a Las Vegas hotel lobby on July 5th. Now, in an Instagram post, Spears said that she gets swarmed by people all the time, and not a single time in her life has a security guard ever hit another person. And she admitted that her reaction was bad and stated that it was a, quote, cry out on all levels. And I don't feel like I had been treated as an equal person in this country, obviously, because of her history. Now, Wemby claims that he didn't see the incident happen. He was like, his back was to her. But Spears later said that she filed a police report. However, Las Vegas PD said no charges are going to be filed with the person involved in this incident. I didn't really want to see the video. I don't know about you. It just felt like kind of ick to me. But it kind of sounds like there's video evidence that she wasn't like smacking him or anything, like she was tapping him. So it felt like an overreaction in my own eyes.
Yeah, I did watch the video this morning, and it is very much a tap. It is not like an assault or anything like that. I think the security guard's just automatic reaction was to do that, but it felt a little bit aggressive.
Yeah.
So. Don't love to see it. All right, coming up, the Afrobeats Music Festival is coming to Seattle for the very first time. We're going to be chatting with a local DJ who brought that vision to life.
But first, we're going to be trying some malasadas. That's a donut without a hole plus a little something extra. This deliciousness up next.
We are starting our Monday off right with some donuts, but not just any kind of donut. Today, we're trying malasadas.
I am so excited for this, and we are joined by Alice Tum and Brandon Hamilton with Good Belly. Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here. So tell us about malasadas. What is it, and how is it different from other donuts?
Well, so malasadas are cheese donut, but they are originated in Portugal, and it got brought into the Hawaii when the workers came work in the sugar plantations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they a little bit different from regular donuts, as you can see. The color a little bit more amber color, and they're more fluffier, airy, and pillowy, in my opinion. And it has like slightly crispy skin on the outside as well.
Ooh,
You're saying good things.
I want to know the story of when you first fell in love with malasadas and also how you started your business.
Yeah. So prior to this, I used to work on a food truck for about a year and a half. That's where I fell in love with the food truck business first. And then malasada, I fell in love with it when we went to Hawaii in 2019. And then the second time was 2021. That's when I actually knew that I wanted to sell malasadas.
Beautiful. And it's easy to see why you would fall in love with something like this. But you actually also taught yourself how to make them? Tell me about that.
I did. Yes, I did. I knew a little bit how to make donut because I used to work at a donut shop before, but malasada was a little bit different, so I had to learn how to do all of that. Took me quite a bit, about a couple months, to learn how to do it and get the right consistency and the perfect one.
And you found it. You did it.
I did.
What kind of
Yes.
fillings do you put inside the malasadas?
So a lot of people like to have plain, was just the sugar fill or the sugar outside.
Yep.
But a lot of people, include myself, like the filling, like Lilikoi cheesecake, one of my top
This one?
favorites. Yep.
Ooh.
And then a big favorite, ube, which
Of course.
Yes.
is that beautiful purple color. Then we got haupia, which is like coconut pudding.
Ah.
Yummy.
Then chocolate, also a favorite. And then Bavarian cream and custard.
Oh, wow.
Custard. We have lots of different
So
flavors.
good. So you'll do them either empty or full of deliciousness, right?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so we are actually going to get to try some of this. So what do we do?
So I want to show you guys how to pipe some of them. This is how we do it. We do everything by hand on our truck. And fresh. But yeah, let's start with the Lilikoi cheesecake. This is one of the fan favorite. Everybody love it. So what you do, you grab a piping bag, and I already pre-poke the hole. So you just put it in, and then you just swish the bag, and you feel it coming out, and then you just lift it.
And then you stop when there's just a little bit on the outside,
Yes,
right?
yeah, you just stop and then lift it.
Okay,
that's
awesome.
cute.
And we get to try?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
If you
here.
want to try that one, is the ube one.
Oh, this
Okay.
one?
Yep,
Okay, I'll go for the ube. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Do you like,
Okay. Yep.
you just go like that?
Yep. And then
It's like
you just
piercing
press it.
Oh!
Pull it up.
Oh,
It's
little-
okay. It's
a
okay.
little cute dollop on the top.
Oh, that's a tiny dollop.
I didn't think I had enough, and then I went a little bit overboard. But you know
You
what?
love a
That's
little
okay.
extra frosting. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, that looks
Okay,
beautiful.
awesome. Oh, wow. This
Should we
is
do another
amazing.
flavor in the other one?
You could.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go chocolate.
I can cut that one for the chocolate. Hold on.
Oh,
real quick.
it's not cut.
It definitely won't
Oh,
go up.
this isn't cut. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, I'm gonna hand this
Let's see if I
back
can
to
do
you.
better at this one. Oh, there we go.
I'm gonna try this.
Not perfect, but I'm sure it's delicious.
Oh, it will. Yes. Some people love a lot of fillings. Some people love just a little bit. But if you love filling, I say put a lot in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's get it in there.
There you go. Oh, mine just took a
Beautiful.
dive.
Oh, this
That's
is
all right.
so amazing.
Where can people find your food truck coming up?
So we're based out of Everett, so we're mainly at a place called Beverly Food Truck Park.
Very nice.
And then if we're at other places like events and private catering,
Yeah.
you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
So fun. Can we try these?
Okay, let's see.
Mmm. Oh, that's so yummy. I love all the different textures, like creamy, like you said, a little crispy on the outside.
I love that crispy on the outside. I love being covered in sugar. It's amazing. And this is a delicious
So good.
filling. Which one? The cheesecake one?
The Lilikoi.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will be finishing this donut. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You guys were awesome. Keep doing your thing. We've got a link with
you.
more info on Good Belly up on our website, fox13seattle.com/Studio 13 Live.
So yummy. Okay, still to come on Studio 13 Live. Why a new app claims that AI is the best way to help you meet your romantic match.
Okay, I'm intrigued by this. And we're getting a look at Seattle's first Afrobeats music festival and talking to the man who created it. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Seattle's first ever Afrobeats Music Festival is coming to the Seattle Center later this month. It's going to feature performances from some of the biggest names in the Afrobeats world.
Oh, it sounds so fun. Joining us today to talk all about it is Bobby Akinboro, and also known as DJ Blass, which is even cooler. Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
So
Thanks
glad
for
that you're
being
here. Yeah. So you actually created Blass Fest. So talk to us about how that came about.
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to DJ all over the world for a lot of the biggest artists, you know, Pitbull, Dua Lipa, One Republic, right?
Oh my God.
And I've had the chance to travel all over, and I'm born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria, and I was like, how come my music isn't going as far, right? You know, how come my culture isn't being permeated? And I realized it's happening everywhere else in the world, really. Afrobeats is the largest and fastest growing genre, but Seattle just hadn't really caught the spark yet, right? And so over the past 6 years that I've been DJing, I've been trying my best to really make something cool happen in this city. And so I've been curating this space since 2020, and now we're at a point where we're bringing it to real life, you know, and the Space Needle was gracious enough to let us bring something of this caliber there.
That's incredible. Wait, before we go any further about this, what was it like working with Dua Lipa? Was she as cool as you would expect?
Of course she is.
He has to say yes.
There's no other option. Yeah, I had the opportunity to DJ for her at Climate Pledge Arena. And
That's
Beautiful,
amazing,
beautiful.
right here. For people who aren't familiar with Afrobeats, tell us a little bit about it.
So Afrobeats is a genre that originates from West Africa, but it's spread everywhere. I think a lot of people are super familiar with reggae, right? And reggae is a derivative of the Afrobeat sound. Afrobeats started back in the 70s, and it just kind of developed. And again, like I say, now it's now the #1 fastest growing genre in the world. You have people hopping on it like Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Chris Brown. It's everywhere. So it's exciting to see what this genre is doing and where it's possibly going to go over the next decade or so.
Nice. So you said it took a minute. It took a minute for Seattle to catch up. But talk to me about why else it was just so important for you to bring it into this space.
Because everything that happens in Seattle really goes to the world, right? You look at the career of like Ray Charles, you look at the career of Jimi Hendrix, and all these other people, Macklemore and Sir Mix-a-Lot. Like things that start in Seattle have the opportunity to spread. And so I was like, why not start a music festival here? We're the only Afrobeats music festival that's based in the U.S. by a U.S. company, right? So we have the opportunity to create something in this hemisphere that hasn't been done before. And I'm really, really excited to be the pioneer of that.
Breaking ground here.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about the artists that people can check out there.
So the artist, Ashake, is Rolling Stone's #1 artist to look out for the next decade. He is the headliner of the festival. We have Tiwa Savage. She performed at the King's Coronation in the UK. We have Ira Star. She's the princess of Afrobeats. Vocalistic is coming from Southern Africa. You know, we have Manny Wells based out of LA. We have people all over coming. We have some Seattle performers as well. You know, we really want to give an opportunity for local artists to have a spotlight. It's going to be an amazing day of amazing music, amazing food, amazing art, and just have an opportunity to see an amazing culture on display.
Nice. All right. Tell us who is invited to attend.
Everybody, all of Seattle, all of Washington. We saw some tickets come in last week from Paris, some tickets coming from Brussels. We're seeing people from everywhere coming to Seattle to watch this happen in real time. Again, it's the fastest growing genre, so, you know, people all over the world are excited about it.
Yeah, and we're getting the next generation excited too, because I hear that you actually host DJ workshops for young kids. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the goal is, again, I'm 30 now, right? So I can only jump on stages for so much longer.
Don't say that.
I definitely want to give the next generation the opportunity to start to learn this craft, right? While I'm still in a mental state to be able to pour as much as possible into them. So we hosted a class in association with Lululemon and BECU and Marshall Headphones to really get kids excited about DJing and show them what this genre can be about.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so I have to ask you, whether it's DJing or really the entertainment industry in any facet, it can be so difficult to get into it, to break in, and then to do something as wonderful as you're doing. What does it feel like for you that you're able to contribute to all of us in this way?
More than anything, it feels like a blessing. You know, I still get confused. Honestly, when people walk up to me and they're like, "Hey, Bobby, you're doing this, you're doing that," I still feel like I'm just trying my best to make a way, and it's awesome to see things come to fruition.
That's amazing.
Wonderful.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing your thing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, we so appreciate you visiting with us. So DJ Blass, thank you.
Thank you.
And keep doing your thing. You are
appreciate
amazing. Okay, we posted more info on our website, fox13seattle.com/studio13live. It feels like this is definitely something you don't want to miss.
Absolutely. So cool. It starts in Seattle and continues to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some stories today. So once you swipe and find your match on a dating app, the next step can be a little hard. Actually figuring out what to say. Well, a new app aims to help singles level up their dating game with a little artificial intelligence. It's called Wing AI, and here's how it works. So the app scans the profile of the person that you want to talk to, and then it writes an opening line for you to start the conversation. After that, it's up to you to keep it going. Initial thoughts on this?
I don't know. Look, here's the thing to me. I think that we as humans are maybe not as complicated as we think we are. So could this work? Sure. But the prompting thing I kind of have a problem with. Like, why don't you tell me what you're about without AI?
I mean, I feel like you could say anything to start the conversation. If you're attracted to that person, you're probably going to respond. And I feel like no matter what you say, you barely ever remember what the first line was unless it was like extremely memorable or very unique. So I guess I can kind of see it. You know, people have used dating coaches for a really long time as well. That's getting a little bit of extra help here too. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but if it goes well in the relationship, at what point are you going to tell that person a robot said hi to you, not me?
Yeah, never. Deathbed
Gotta keep
confession.
that one locked away.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we shared that a reporter got proposed to during what seemed like an interview. It was certainly unique, okay, when it comes to asking somebody to marry you. But there's a new study by Mixbook.com that shares the top places for a proposal in the U.S., okay? So number one is actually Sunset Cliffs Natural Park in San Diego. Love a good sunset proposal. And then number two is the Tampa River Walk. That one kind of surprised me a little bit, but yeah, you know, nice views, the water. Now, when it comes to our state, in Washington, Tacoma Museum of Glass is number 49. Spokane at the historic Davenport Hotel landed at number 65. And in Seattle, Cary Park is number 106. Now, this list got bombastic side eye from me because Washington's so low on the list.
Yeah,
it's beautiful here.
I know. I feel like a lot of people propose on vacation. You know what I mean? A lot of people, especially from like the Midwest, go on vacation in Florida. So maybe that's why like the Florida locations were so high up there. I'm a little bit surprised too because anywhere with a beautiful view, you would think would be a good spot, and Washington has so many gorgeous views. So I'm a little surprised by this. All right, let's talk about this. Do you have friends that you try to avoid because you know it costs you a lot of money whenever you hang out with them? Well, it may just be better to dump them.
Ouch.
This is harsh. Fortune magazine is following a new trend among younger generations where people are dumping their wealthier friends because they're just too expensive to hang out with. So in a poll of 1,000 millennials and Gen Zers, more than a third say that they have at least one friend who makes them spend more than they can afford. And 80% of those people say that they've had to use credit cards or have gone into debt to keep up. They say it's sometimes easier to just ghost the person than to explain the problem or ask them to tone it down. I get that, like, it's embarrassing to say you can't afford to do something, but you could always suggest a cheaper way to do the experience, or maybe say, I can't go to this thing, but let's try this other, you know, free experience, especially like outdoor activities. That's free for the most part, you know what I mean?
I don't love this tip, I have to say. I mean, if they're truly your friends, it doesn't have to be like this big, oh my gosh, I'm living in poverty. No. No, you can say like, hey, it's not the right time for me financially to do this. Would love to hang out. You don't need to explain anything else. Like, it's just not the right time. And they're your friend. They should be able to understand. But honestly, I've always been very much of the thought that if you know you're the wealthier friend, and like, again, no need to have a big talk, like, you also have a responsibility to your friends and your friend group to like understand that maybe your financial situation is different, and also come up with things that everyone can enjoy. Nobody wants to go in debt.
Definitely. And I mean, if you think of like traveling with friends, for example, you know, people come into the friend group with all different pay rates.
Yeah.
You kind of, I mean, the nice thing to do is really to go with what the friend who can spend the least amount of money is, you know? Other people can split off and do their own thing, but I mean, if you love your friend and want to hang out with them, it kind of doesn't matter what you do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a weird one.
All right, coming up next, we are turning to the internet for a round of cuckoo reviews.
And stick with us because Rapport is sharing a lot about their wine fair, focusing on Washington's Gorge region. More on that when we come back.
Oh,
Oh, that open's always so cute. Okay, so it is time to check in with stuff my toddler says.
Yes, we love a good laugh around here, and kids can be some of the best comics out there without even realizing it.
Yeah, here are some of our recent favorite quotes from live from Snack Time. This 8-year-old has a plan for the future. They say, quote, "I'm gonna get a pet snake. When I'm 10, I'm gonna name it Gilbert because that's a nice name."
Okay, planning ahead. How about sweet Astrid at just 3 years old? She says, "I just have a lot of hugs in my body and I gotta get them out."
That's so cute.
That's so wholesome.
Yeah, so this next one's coming to us from Twitter, and at the multiple moms says, quote, "When my 2-year-old doesn't want to talk anymore, she ends the conversation with happy birthday and then walks away waving goodbye." I want to do this to
That's
somebody.
so great. Just like end with confusion. Also from Twitter and the parent perspective, Lucy Huber says, "Told my 2-year-old we could do something, just me and him this afternoon, and he asked what he wanted to do. And he said, 'Can I have a meltdown?' Honestly, sure. This advance warning is great for planning purposes, and I appreciate it." Oh. So honest. I love that there's just not like this filtration system yet. They just say what they think.
Say what they mean. You know
Plan your
what?
meltdowns, if possible.
I know. And meltdowns are so hard. But if you take a step back, in my experience, they've always been about something else, right? Like they're just overtired or hungry or, whatever. And I think that's really something that goes on into adulthood. Like when you're having a really hard time with something, check in. Have you had water? Do you need a snack? Do you need a nap? And that'll fix all your problems. Most of them anyway. All right, well, you do have to just write down all those memorable treasures that your kiddos say. Keep them for yourself, but also so you can send them to us. You can email us on social media. Search for Studio 13 on Fog.
I love it. All right, now it is time for Cuckoo Reviews, where we just dive in to the most absurd internet reviews. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
All right. This one's for a popular oil change spot in Bellevue. This customer wrote, "Waited in line 30 minutes. That's fine. They were busy. And then 1 hour for a simple oil change. 1 hour, 30 minutes here. Change the 15 minutes or so sign or get good at oil changes."
Oh, wow.
Tell the internet about it.
You might try doing it yourself, but I certainly don't know how, so I'd just be stuck.
Yeah.
90 minutes it is. So this other person had a totally different experience, and they wrote, quote, "Best oil change ever. Manager greeted me as if I was an old friend, took care of all of my requests and with a smile, worked fast and knowledgeable. All around great establishment. Whole staff deserves 2 dozen Krispy Kreme."
Oh.
That's nice.
They deserve it. No word on if the reviewer followed through on the Krispy Kreme thank you, or if it was just a nice thought that they told to Yelp.
Okay.
TBD. Do you think they did, or they just?
I don't think they did, but it would be nice.
Because if they did, they would have tooted their own horn and been like, "I bought them all 2 dozen Krispy Kremes because they were so great," right? Maybe on their next oil change. All right. If you come across any funny reviews, be sure to DM them to us or tag Studio 13 Live on social media. We honestly love seeing them. They're so funny.
I laugh so
People
much.
are so intense.
All right, still to come, we are tasting some of the featured wines from Washington's Gorge Wineries. Hear all about Rapport's new wine fair event with its tasting room program.
Very cool. And don't forget, if you missed anything from today's show, you can find it on our website. Head to fox13seattle.com/Studio13Live. Lots of good stuff there.
Yeah, I'm gonna make your day. Yeah, I'm gonna make your.
It is time for Seattle Sips, where we highlight some amazing drinks in our area. And Rapport is hosting their first ever wine tasting event focusing on Washington's Gorge wine area this month. They also launched their tasting trails and their wine quiz to guide people through a variety of different wines and palates.
Very cool. And here to share all about it, David Clausen with Rapport. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. I'm glad you're here. So tell us all about this new wine fair that you're hosting.
So it's going to be super fun. It's going to be July 23rd from 2 to 5 p.m. And this will actually be the first wine fair that we put on. We do lots of like smaller wine tastings and things like that, as you might expect. But this is going to have a bunch of winemakers from the Gorge. But this is the Gorge not where the amphitheater is,
Right.
which I think a lot of people get confused. But there's an amazing wine region that's along the Washington-Oregon border, and that's also the Gorge. And there's just some super cool, really exciting up-and-coming wineries from there. And so we're going to be featuring those wines with the winemakers pouring and all that kind of good fun. So it should be a blast.
Awesome. And we are so lucky today because we get to try some of those featured wines. So talk to us about what we have.
Yeah, so we got a variety of stuff. Again, all really kind of almost avant-garde, fun up-and-coming producers. The first one here is by a guy named Joe Swick, and his wines, he likes to do varietals that are kind of more unusual, which is common among some of the other ones as well we're going to try. This is an Albarino, so it's a Spanish grape, but it's also grown both in Washington and Oregon.
Oh, cool.
And I'll just pour a little bit for you to try.
Thank you. So what makes this one different?
I mean, I think Washington wines, as delicious as they are known for the bigger reds, Syrahs, Cabernets, that kind of stuff. And they do an amazing job with those wines here. But what you have going on in the Gorge is, just again, a little more unusual, different varietals, a lot of older world, both Spanish, Alsatian, different stuff like that. You have some really crazy cool farming. So where winemakers, traditionally, a lot of wines, the winemakers will buy the grapes and then make the wines. In the Gorge, it tends to be more, and this is a great example of the next wine, where this is from a producer called Loop de Loop. So wonderful, super wonderful lady named Julia. So her and her husband bought this amazing vineyard up on this mountain, and so they farm everything themselves, all organic. Then they make the wines as well. So that kind of idea of farming your grapes, making the wine, which doesn't seem that radical. In fact, in Europe, it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Right.
Here is actually more unusual. But again,
Meaning they're usually separated?
they are oftentimes separated. But again, now what's happening in the Gorge is you see a lot more of that type of vigneron, European type of way of making wine. And so this is actually a skin contact Viognier.
Ooh.
So Viognier, I think a lot of people know
like
that grape, but what's interesting about this is that, so she basically macerates the juice of this grapes with the skins of the grape, like you make in the same way you make a red wine. So this has kind of become a popular way of making some white wines, or better yet, what people call orange wines.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've heard that term before.
Yeah, I've heard of orange wine.
Right, so
is this considered
so
an
this
orange
is considered an orange wine.
Okay.
I mean, isn't that crazy
It's so
orange in color?
trendy.
Yeah, but it's a little orange.
So it's a little bit, yeah, and that's actually where the name comes from. It's not anything to do with any oranges. There's nothing like that going on. No oranges involved. But the color, because even a white grape will has some color on the skin.
Okay.
So when you do that kind of maceration thing, it pulls out some color, and then you get generally kind of a wine that's a little bit like orangish off. But it's also it adds interesting textural part to the wine, and it just makes it something else that's fun.
So would you say
Absolutely.
that orange wine taste-wise is between a white and a red?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything. You have tons of variety, right?
Yeah.
But what's crazy sometimes is if you pour an orange wine into maybe a black glass, you can't see what the color is at all.
Oh.
And some of them are they actually they taste like a red wine. They can have tannins, and and people get confused. You can really mess with people that way.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, in some ways they are.
Interesting. Okay,
So
what's
those are some
next?
fun kind of whites. And there's a couple reds here, which I love these two producers. Let's start here. So this is a very unusual grape varietal called Trousseau. So Trousseau is a grape that's found in France. It's becoming a little more popular in an area called the Jura. Also found in parts of Spain and Portugal. And I love it when in Portugal, for instance, they call it Bastardo. Which is it's no bastard. Trust me, it's a really delicious red varietal, a little bit lighter, as you can see in the color.
Yeah, it is lighter.
This is made by a guy named Steven at a winery called Analemma, and I mean, I was kind of blown away. I was there recently, visiting with many of the wineries, and his path and what he's done. He's kind of comes from Cayuse, if you never know that winery, was won Best Washington, and he started this farm in the Oregon side where they grow the grapes all what's under a practice called biodynamics. And that's kind of this crazy heightened form of organics. So it's just everything he's doing there is so holistic and kind of complete, and then just I think the wines reflect that.
Yeah, I have to say this is more full-bodied than I was expecting because of the light color. I thought it was going to be light, but it's delicious. Would we eat this with sort of a heavier meal as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that can cover a lot of bases. I mean, personally speaking, I think it'd be great with some charcuterie. Even the cheese.
Yeah,
that's
beautiful.
Just me. But yeah, they can. It's very. I think another aspect of these wines is they're very food friendly. People throw that term out and it's like, what does that mean? Well, in my mind, it's wine that has some good balance, some good acidity, sometimes the tannins too, the good structure that can pair well with cheeses or meats and what have you.
Yes. Wonderful.
Make a special
yes,
little
girl,
cracker?
I do. I
Oh, you
want to
pour our
make. You
last
said
one?
this was
Yeah.
your beautiful favorite cheese. What is this?
So that's called Lenora. It's a goat cheese, and yeah, just super delish. That one,
love
you eat
goat
the whole
cheese.
thing, the rind too.
the rind too.
Yep. So the last one, this is a super cool wine called Little Bastions, and it's two wonderful guys who, and again, this just kind of epitomizes some of the, I don't know, almost the exploratory aspect of what's happening in this area of the gorge. So these guys actually find their vineyards abandoned. They find abandoned vineyards literally on Google Maps. So they literally would take satellite views, find these old abandoned vineyards, and then contact the owners and say, hey, you're not using these vineyards anymore. Can we go there? Can we grow it? Can we farm it for you? And then they very much into this natural kind of movement of wine and wanting to work organically, equally.
Yeah.
And so they will then do that and then make these wines, and they're super playful. And again, it just shows you some of the unusual fun things that are happening there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
And so
that
this
for
is
the
actually
environment.
this is a blend of Pinot Noir, which I'm sure we all know,
Yep.
but also some
love.
Dolcetto. So Dolcetto is an Italian red varietal that's a little unusual, but I think
I've ever tried that.
paired together,
Good.
it makes something quite different, quite fun.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, you just rolled out your new Tasting Trails program at Rapport.
Yes.
What does that include?
So thank you for asking about that.
Yeah.
So first, I guess one more thing on Rapport. So first place in Seattle where you can pour your own wine and beer. I have little cards like this that let people basically access 80 wines on tap. So that's a lot of wine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people are it's super fun. You can try things, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So we have two ways of kind of going about that. We have these tasting trails, which are like, oh, you like Sauvignon Blanc, awesome. Okay, maybe start here and then try these 3 or 4 wines.
Beautiful.
We also have a fun little tasting quiz, which is digital.
Awesome.
And you can maybe kind of see it here.
Fabulous.
So it's like,
we'll actually link to that on our website.
Oh,
there.
please,
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
perfect. Yeah,
That'd be
thank you so
amazing.
much, David. Lots more info on Rapport up on our website, fox13seattle.com/Studio13Live.
Yeah, so don't forget, we're going to be on the road tomorrow. Brian and I will be live from Lumen Field. And Carly, you're going to be chatting up with some celebrities.
You know it. I'll be on the red carpet ahead of the All-Star game.
That's right. And Jody and Bender will be giving us a look at Play Ballpark. We'll see ya tomorrow.
I'm gonna make your day. Yeah, I'm